Hey guys, this is Chris with Retro Crypt back for another stream, and today I'm going to be playing Operation C from the Game Boy off of the Contra Collection, Contra Anniversary Edition, whatever it's called. So let's get into it. I don't know if you saw my last stream where I just got my ass handed to me in Castlevania for an hour and didn't even pass the level. Kind of a pain, kind of embarrassing, but such is life. I don't know, I guess I forgot to save after that yesterday. Area 4. Let's save here. Save, save, save. Whoopsie, I forgot to bring it up on my phone. Da 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 da. Twitch. Twitch ski. Yeah, those aliens got fat asses. This is giving me Starship Troopers vibes. Anybody see Avatar? I didn't. Fuck Avatar. Shit looks like some bullshit. Blue Man Group. Is this my last life or something? I can't fucking continue from where I was at. Oh. I wonder if certain games, like certain key phrases, will cause, you know, certain streams to pop up more for certain people. If anybody knows, hey, yeah. What's up, Dene? In this game, this weapon is much more effective than Spread Shot. See, it's kind of like, it sounds like a moped almost, but it's like a heat seeker, or I should say an alien seeker. Oh yes, I got a free life. Save. I didn't know you were a Bret Hart fan. Oh man, my favorite wrestler of all time is Bret Hart. He was a shining light in a dark time in the WWF. So basically in the early 90s, early to mid 90s, the steroid scandal was going on. So I guess it wasn't I guess the legality of it was different back in the day when, like, back in the heyday when everybody's like fucking neck was the size of my leg. So you could get steroids a lot easier. You just had to get a prescription written by a doctor, and that was that. So like, I guess once all that started coming out and they started phasing out all the huger wrestlers, they were emphasizing more on actual wrestling and in-ring storytelling as opposed to just focusing on the aesthetic. And Bret Hart, and I hate to give him credit, but Shawn Michaels, because Shawn Michaels is a piece of shit. He's a fantastic wrestler, but I guess he's turned his life around now, but he's not, I don't know, Bret was just like the epitome of just the honest, do his talking in the ring kind of guy. Oh man, if you start reviewing wrestling figures, I know you send me your stuff anyway, but you know, definitely I'll be on the lookout for that. Because I keep getting hit by that one fucking guy. Yeah, no, Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels really truly hated each other, and that's what made their feud so good, is because they legit hated each other. Back in the day, like wrestling, I mean, it's always been predetermined and scripted, but now it's like, I still watch it here and there, but it's like the wrestlers are just, like, you could tell they just, as opposed to just hitting like bullet points and kind of like letting your personality do the talking, like you could tell they're just like memorizing full promos word for word, and it comes out super unnatural and without a lot of personality, similar to the way that I speak. No, I'm just kidding. 80s 90s wrestling was the best. Yeah, no question. Like the NWA in the 80s was fantastic. 80s and 90s, WCW wrestling in the 90s. Like, WCW doesn't get a lot of credit, but even before Hulk Hogan came in, and it was like the Bill Watts era. So like Bill Watts was an old school wrestler that came in as the booker for WCW, and like nobody really liked him because he was kind of a douchebag and like a bully and everything. But at the same time, he kind of like had that attitude of like smash mouth wrestling. It wasn't like a bunch of like flippy floppy shit. So if you go back and you watch like Ron Simmons taking the championship off of Vader, that was like during the Bill Watts era. And you know, he just really emphasized shit kicking wrestling, even though not a lot of people really liked him. But yeah, if you ever get a chance, watch, and you haven't seen it yet, Wrestling with Shadows is a documentary that they were filming like right before the Montreal Screwjob happened, and it kind of like perfectly encapsulates the feud between Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. They got this cool figure, I think it came out from Target, or at Target. It's a Hulk Hogan figure, relatively new. It's really cool. I actually wanted to get it. I know it's like fashionable to hate Hulk Hogan, but you know. Yeah, it's really cool. It's like newer. I don't know like who makes it or but it, you know, it's like, I don't need to tell you, it's like, you know, when they release these figures, they come out with like a couple different heads and, you know, different arms that they could attach. Like, I'm not, you know, super, like, I love figures and stuff. I used to have a ton. Like, I used to have a million freaking wrestlers. I used to have Power Ranger figures. I used to have the Thumb Wrestlers. I used to have, actually had even some AWA figures, which I found at a thrift store. Those were really cool. They were kind of like, I don't know if they had the same maker as like the original huge ass G.I. Joes. Like, they had the huge G.I. Joes, but like, I'm trying to think of how I could explain it. It's like they had like squishy heads and like they're really like barrel chested and look. And I had the Road Warriors, and they were really cool. Yeah, I still love Hulk Hogan too. I mean, I don't agree with what he said, and you know, I know he's been kind of underhanded with people, but at the same time, it's like, if you're like the biggest name in wrestling, you know, obviously it's a paranoid business to begin with. Obviously, you're gonna do what you have to do to stay on top. I mean, he's just trying to get his bread. Like, I don't really like the fact that he like dicked over Bret Hart. Yeah, Ultimate Warrior definitely Ultimate Warrior hated him. He's got a lot of skeletons in his closet as well. I mean, again, I don't really. It's like with wrestling, you gotta kind of like separate the character from the person, because technically it's kind of like if you love a movie but you find out that the actor did some grimy shit. It's like, I don't know. It's like you kind of like separate from, or try to at least separate from the character. I don't know. It's like, it's not like Roman Polanski where it's like he fucking drugged a 13-year-old girl and like sodomized her. It's like he's a great director and actor and stuff. He's been in some movies. He's actually, I never noticed it, but he's like the police inspector from Rush Hour 3. But yeah, Roman Polanski, it's like you can't separate the character, you know, his character from his you know what I mean. And people will be like, oh, but you love Mike Tyson. Personally, I don't think Mike Tyson did that, but you know, that's neither here nor there. I honestly think they fucked, and like he kicked her out, and she probably felt some type of way about that, because that girl actually, she claimed that an ex-boyfriend had raped her, and she recanted. So to me, it's like, I don't know, man. Sounds like you're telling stories. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt, you know, Hulk Hogan probably introduced Elizabeth to drugs. Because Macho Man was like super, like he would like lock her up in closets and shit. I don't agree with what he did, but at least he was trying to, like, he knew how grimy wrestlers could be and how the business could be. So he, you know, he went like way to the extreme to protect her. But the person you have to blame for her death though is Lex Luger, because you know, she was having fucking, because of him, she got all pilled up. She was having, you know, vodka and pouring fucking vodka and Vicodin in her cereal for breakfast. But yeah, Lex Luger, I mean, I do believe in like a creator and stuff like that. But I really think, like, I don't know if it's because I'm getting older, but I definitely feel like God does shit to people that do grimy shit. Because Lex Luger is like a shell, literally, of his former self. Like, he was one of the most jacked people ever, just not even in wrestling, just ever. And now, like, he's like all like skinny, and like he's pretty much just like, he's like God boy now. I guess he's like, oh fuck, man, God really stuck his foot in my ass for all, things that I've done. Because, people loved Elizabeth. And he just can't hold a grudge against the man, because I guess he turned his life around, but with him it seems genuine. Like, with Shawn Michaels, I don't know about him. I don't know if I just have like a bias because, his feud with Bret Hart. Yeah, nah. Lex was freaking like $1 million body. It was like, a Corvette with the motor of a Toyota Tercel. Because, he looked incredible. Like, he literally looked like a character, like a Tetsuo Hara character that he would draw. Like, he looked like a character from Saturday Night Slam Master. But, like, his promos were garbage. Like, couldn't get over. They did the whole Lex Express thing, and it was like even as a kid, I was like, eh. Like, you could see through it. You're like, he doesn't have the same. They should have just kept him as a villain, because he's a good natural villain. He came in as the narcissist. And I liked him as a villain. As a kid, I was never like, I always liked like the good guys, but I would always like a good bad guy as well. Like $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, Rick Rude, Piper when he was a villain, Iron Sheik, obviously. I met the Iron Sheik. He wrestled in my high school gym when I was in like 9th grade. I think he wrestled like Doink, one of the 50 people who's been Doink. Yeah, Lex Luger is just a natural heel. Like him, or I was watching it last night. Whatchamacallit? The Sid Justice heel turn on Hulk Hogan. Like, they just cannot get him over as a good guy in WWF. Like, he just seems like, trying to be a good guy, he just came off as so doofy and like a big lunkhead. And it's like, he's supposed to be like a big nasty heel. I really liked Sid as a heel. Yeah, it was the Saturday night's main event with Sid Justice teaming with Hulk Hogan against Ric Flair as the world champion, and The Undertaker. My favorite iteration of The Undertaker was the original. Either that or Ministry of Darkness Undertaker. Because, like, the old school Undertaker, people don't realize, but, like, he used to, like, really, like, he would lose, like, a lot of matches. So, like, he wasn't, like, the Undertaker wasn't the Undertaker when he first came out. He really had to, like, work for it. And that's what I respect about the Undertaker. Like, he's never afraid to, like, put anybody over or sell for anybody. Ah, man, this part's tough. But chat. I've heard people like, oh, the Undertaker's supportive of the police. I hate him now. Who gives a shit? Same dumbass people that will say that will also call the police when somebody tries to break into their house. Goddamn face huggers. Face huggers? That's not quite... I hate to use the F word, fair. But it's... They don't really give you any kind of warning that something like that's about to happen. Got those classic 90s Konami sound effects. I love it. Reminds me of Ninja Turtles. The ones that, fuck me, came out on quote-unquote the Ultra label. So basically that was because they could only put out like, I guess the deal that they had with Nintendo was third-party producers could only put out like 5 or 10 games per year. So Konami made the shell company of Ultra as a way to put out more games. So this is like going way back. This is the type of stuff that was going on in the industry back in the day. This music is a remix of one of the Contra tracks. I forget which one. Let me see. Oh yeah, it's the Energy Zone. Yo, no way. Fuck. Ooh. Which game? Yeah. Oh. Ooh. My setup's a little weird. I just watched the chat on my phone because when I try to play Twitch through the Twitch app, I have it set on low latency. That's what the bunch of videos I watched told me to do, but it's still like super duper delayed, so I don't know which game you were referring to. I have the memory and attention span of a goldfish, so oh I'm playing it on PS4. Does the Contra collection? I have my Switch and my PS4 set up. Yeah. Um. Yeah, I didn't get the Switch until like last. I got it kind of late. I thought about buying one, and I was like, I don't know. I already got a PS4, and then my wife just surprised me with the Switch for Christmas last year, and I'm very happy with it. I really do like the Switch a lot. A lot of people like are just, I don't know. I understand like Nintendo has weird copyright policies, but it's like, you know, and they're very like they try and take down anything like AM2R, like the guy who worked on that game for like, I don't know, 10 years or something, and then Nintendo served him a cease and desist. But it's like that's their intellectual property. Like, I understand that, you know, people are just like, oh, it's a corporation, blah blah blah. It's their intellectual property. They have the right to. They're the ones that created the franchise. The game. At some point, I gotta download it because it's still on the internet places, but it's like a really cool, essentially like a super Metroid. I know I'm going like really off in the left field here, as I tend to do. It's basically like a fan-made direct sequel to Super Metroid. It's kind of like a Mega Man X Corrupted, which is like not really a sequel to any, or to my understanding, it's not really a direct sequel to any of the Mega Man X games, but it's just basically like a new Mega Man X game, but fan made, and it's got I read that it has like Metroidvania elements to it, which I always wanted to see that. It's very ironic that I came across it. I just happened across it on YouTube, and like, it looks incredible. Have you played Metroid Dread? I did, and it's very cool. I have like serious game ADHD, so it's like I will start playing a game, and I'll get to a certain point, and I'm just like, I start like my mind just starts drifting, and I just go to the PlayStation Store or the Switch shop, and I just, you know, buy something new. If you go on my YouTube channel, Retro Crypt, I have my Switch wish list on there, and it's like taking everything in my being not to buy a new game, and like I want to buy this cursed, is it cursed or cursed? So Cursed Golf. I always loved sport. Like, I'm not really a sports person, but if there's like a sports game with a gimmick, like, I'm hooked. Like Baseball Simulator, I think it's called Baseball Simulator 3000. There's one on NES and one on Super NES. I really love that game. It's like you could program your guys to have like fucking like rocket pitches and like, or like fire shoots out. It's really cool. Oh yeah. Jump right into the guy. So yeah, Metroid Dread. It's a beautiful looking game, and what I really like about it is how fluid Samus moves. Like, her movements are incredible. And people really shit on the Switch. They're like, you know, it's graphics and this and I don't know, man. Like the game mechanics and the fluidity of her gait is pretty impressive to me. It's like compare that to like Super Nintendo. Even Super Nintendo is like her movements are very fluid. But like look at Metroid from Metroid 1, 2, and then Super Metroid, and then Metroid Prime, which I don't hate it, but I'm just talking in terms of 2D Metroid. Obviously, there's a ton of 3D games that I like. Like I love the Fallout series, but I'm more of a 2D guy. I've always loved 2D gaming. How are you gonna play some Alien Storm tomorrow? Come on. I'm just gonna cheese the fuck out of this and just keep saving every time I do a little damage. Still gotta finish Blasphemous. I got like maybe like 80% of the way through that game, and that's another one that I wouldn't say I gave up, but I just kind of had to stop playing for my mental health. Because I was like, I won't even say how many hours into it, and I just kind of like hit a wall. Even with playthroughs, I was like, where the fuck do I go? Like, where do I go? Okay, guy. Don't tell me that was just a mini boss. This game is a lot more challenging than I originally remember. Play Alien. Yeah, I gotta get that. I still, that's another one that's been on my radar for a while. That wasn't the best ending boss that they could have given. Put me through all that just to have a zero resistance end boss. that's kind of, that was something. I don't know what it was, but it was something. See, that's a pretty cool effect, that smoke effect there for, and beautiful, beautiful pixels. It's beautiful for the Game Boy. And that helicopter effect. See, I could talk at length about the things that I really love about pixel art games, and never really. I never stopped playing 2D games, even when like PS4 or like PlayStation essentially made the switch over to mainly 3D. I was like, oh, this is awesome. This is finally something that I really, as game, like me and my brother would be like, oh man, I can't wait until to see what the future of gaming holds, because it'll be like real people. The graphics will be so good, and now that the graphics are so good and it looks like real people, like I only want to play old school, because again, your imagination fills in a lot of blanks with newer games. It doesn't really give you a chance to use your imagination. It's like Marvel movies, like it's like 99% of the movie is like computer generated, and it's like you don't really need to see everything and have everything mapped out for you. Like every movie doesn't need a sequel. Like having like, for example, having a sequel to The Thing is pointless. I know I'm not talking about the movie that came out a couple years back. I know that's a prequel, but I'm using it for an example. Like, you don't really need to know what happens to McCready and Childs after. Like, obviously they froze. You don't need to wrap it up in a tight little bow. Like, just let your imagination fill in the blanks. So I am going to stay tuned, because now that I completed this, I'm gonna switch over to the Switch after I post this video, and actually I'll make a quick switch because people are actually watching. So this is Chris with Retro Crypts. I just played Operation C, completed. Give me like 3-4 minutes, and I'm gonna jump back on and chip away at Super Ghouls and Ghosts a little bit. See you soon.